So in this video, I am going to see if I can help you guys all out there with getting these speed ties installed on the 2024 Sea-Doo Spark Trixx 3-Up. And it's pretty much the same for all the Spark 1, 2, and 3, just with a couple of different changes on the seat for the 1 and 2 and 3. And yeah, let's see how this goes. One of the first things I would suggest is to go on the BRP website and get the manual to install the speed ties. And on there you will see all kinds of parts and diagrams of the 2024 speed ties with detailed information on how to install, with the options for the 1 up, 2 up, and 3 up. The 3 up is illustrated first, so that's the one I go by. Okay, so again, you can see the link, and I will put that in the video as well. Let's go. So in the box, that's an instruction site, as I just said in the first part of the video. You have all your speed ties. These are all the same, right? It doesn't matter where these go, they're all the same. And you got your clips that go on the side that the ropes go through at the end. That is a bracket for under the back seat. This one is for the 3-up. You got some screws. You got the little end caps for the ropes. Once they're in there, you put these little caps on, and the poles that the rope goes through with the knot. And that is another back seat adapter. Goes under the back seat for probably the 2 up and 1 up. I'm not going to use this one for this install. Then you got the guides that go on each side of the Sea-Doo underneath. And we'll get to those and show you how those go in. Got a left and a right. So those are the parts. Let's get at it. So you're going to want to remove a couple of panels first on each side. This one and this one, both sides. So let's get those off, and then we'll look for the bolts that we gotta remove. Just pull that out like so, and that just clips in there. Unclip, and a couple of tabs there and there that you can see on the bottom here. Those clip back into. So we'll put that aside. Let's get this other one. This other one, you have to go inside and look. There's that bolt there. Undo that bolt, and then we'll pull that off. By the way, you just need a 10mm socket for this, and we'll get that off. So I removed the bolt, 10mm head. We're going to take this panel, push it forward, and pull it off here. So I'll have to put the phone down for that, and then I'll show you So we just push it forward and then remove it, pull it off. Let's see how we did this. So again, just pushed it forward, away, and all those slots, you see, and then they just go back in there, and then you bolt it back up. Easy peasy. We'll put this to the side. So now I'm going to show you the bolts we have to remove. If you can get under here. One sec. We got 1, 2, 3 right there. Get those out of there. And then those 2 there. So there's like 5 more bolts there. Gotta get out. And that's the same for both sides. We're going to be using a T30 Trixx bit. Okay, and you can use whatever, 3/8 drive, 1/4 inch drive, whatever you got, but the T30 Trixx is what you need for the bottom. Okay, so get over here and get this going under here. Yeah. Start with these right there. Okay, I'll put this down and we'll get it. So that's all the screws, bolts, whatever you'd like to call them, that you should have removed for both sides. This is one side, and then the same goes for the other side. Again, it's a T30 Trixx, and that's with all the covers off on the front. Now we're going to move to the front and drop down the little panel that's sitting above the cargo area. And that's this, whoops, this right here. We got to drop down out of the way. Show you how I sort of did that. So after you got those bolts removed, go over to the side and just pull down to get these clips out right here. So just pull that down. There's some wires attached. Just leave them. Bring that down. And there's a front little tab here. Once you pull those side, give a tug on each side of that panel that's up, sitting up there. This little tab will just pop down. Just give it a good snap down and it should be okay. It won't break, it's pretty tough. And then when you bolt everything back together, this thing will just clip right back up in there. Yeah. So we got that down. Now we can move and start mounting one of the speed ties. There we go. So back to the speed ties. So when you grab your speed ties, when you're mounting them, this nut side has to go to the outside of the sea-doo. So put it in this way. If you're going onto the right side, there you go. Make sure that's out. Next is there's a couple of openings above the screw holes. Okay, got a small one right there and a larger one. The larger one goes to the bottom, so it'll be going in there just like this. Okay, and then make sure your rope that's in there, you gotta pull it out, and we gotta get the spacer that's on the rope, and just remove it from the rope, because we'll be putting that in after it's installed. And it's the guide, it's the rope guide that goes before this little unit. It'll butt up against there, right in there, in that hole on the rope, just to guide it through here when it's on the Sea-Doo. Guide it through. So I'll get that out, pull the rope out, and show you that spacer. So here's that spacer. You can see it right in there. That little thingy there. You gotta get that out of there and then put it on the rope after. So let's do that. So you'll see that it's right there on the rope. I pulled the rope out. Kind of gotta hold it so it doesn't retract in there, but you hold that, pull that little spacer off. So I'll get that off now. So I got that spacer out right there, and we'll be putting that in after this is installed. The instructions aren't very great, so kind of figured that out by trial and error. Another thing, when you get this speed tie out, make sure that the rope retracts all the way as close to that opening as possible. If it's hanging out this far, wind it in until you need to pull it out more, so there's some tension there. Okay, you don't want a long piece just hanging there, because it's not going to retract properly. So make sure there's, you know, maybe even less than this, if you had to, wind it in so there's some pressure on there. So you want pressure all the way, so that thing, when your ties retract in, they retract and they slap up nice and tight against the Sea-Doo. So we'll do that. So before we install the actual speed tie, we're gonna put the guide way in first. That just snaps in there and then bolts up with one of the included screws. So we'll get those in there. So this little unit is going in right here, right behind here, and up in there. It'll clip in there. Wiggle your way around. There. Let's see. We can do that. There's a little hole in there that this clips into as well. This whole slot. Right? So nice fit. And we'll just put the bolt up in there. Right in there. That's that screw. I just sat there. I'll get that, again, stuff in there above that cover we just took out, and it sits in there nice and snug. Yeah. So I put the piece up there. See it here. No screw in it yet. So what it does is you push up, and then you click in. And there's this little tab in there, and it'll click and hold it up. Okay, make sure you do that before you try to put the screw in, or you're gonna be out of alignment with that hole. So now you put the screw in once that's snapped up in there. So there you can see the screw right there. I just got it started, so I'm gonna get a ratchet, again T30, and tighten that up, and then we can get the actual speed tie in. That's in there, right there. Yeah, right there. See it in there, through. So let's get the speed tie in there now. Well, that's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need those two 10mm socket screws, bolts that mount the speed tie. One for the top, one for the bottom. Remember, larger opening on the bottom, bolt sticking out. Let's go. I'll get that in there and we'll see. So it's basically going to go in like that. There's one hole right there at the top, and there's the other one at the bottom. Oh, and before we go ahead and mount that, I should put a little guide, I guess, extra guard. Oops. That goes in here on the side, on the end of the guide for the thing. So that just pops in there, like so. Just another wear piece on the guide channel. And again, those screw mount holes for the, so there's the screw that came up to held that guide in place in there. So yeah, there's the front of the machine, so you have a reference. And that's that one to hold in the thing, the guide. Yeah, so that was the bolt, and then there's the clip that the guide was coming in from the bottom. You push it through and then push it this way, and that'll stay in place until you get that screw in. And then right above that, that is your bottom screw for the speed tie, right? And then there's your top where it goes in. Bottom and top, just like this, on an angle, sitting in there like that, but in behind, bolt facing out. Okay, let's get that in there, and then you'll see where we're at. So I've placed the speed tie in behind. There's the two screws. And I'll just show you where it is. Well, it's positioned. There it is. I pulled it away a little bit from the wall, so you see again the larger opening at the bottom. And then when the rope comes out, it's gonna go over this and in. This thing guides it, that little tongue on there guides it through that back opening. You want that back opening right in there. Pull your rope through there, and we'll put the little guide that we took off at the beginning on the rope before we feed it the rest of the way through the guide. Okay, but there's where it goes. So I'm going to tighten those up, and then we'll pull the rope through and put the little floating guide on there. So you can tighten that one up with a 10mm socket, but this one here, down here, you're gonna need a wrench on it for a little bit and then go in with a socket to tighten it off. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so I've got that in there tightened up. So I pulled the string, rope, whatever you want to call it, tie it down out a little bit, and we're gonna put that over top. So I'm gonna just feed that through there and show you what we're doing. Okay, so I fed that onto the end of the rope. Now you can just pull that rope through and feed it into the guide there. Remember, it's gonna go over that piece. So you can see what I've done here. Started feeding that through there, the guide. There's an opening there, and then you push it up and then come out the back. And there's this little guide. So that's gonna butt up right against in there, floating against the guide. Just float, it'll float there, right? So that's where you want it to be before it enters the long, narrow guide and out. Pretty straightforward. And then it'll go up and over that guide as it's going in the hole. Yeah, that's how it'll be going. Yeah, I'll show it once I got it through. Okay, so I fed that through there, coming out of the large opening that we discussed, and then around, and you can guide it on that little flange or tongue of the guide we installed at the bottom. See, wrapping around there, and then can't see it much, but there's that little floating guide on the rope, right there, and then it just goes through there, the channel, and out. And I just put this in there, so you just feed the rope through there, a little knot in there, all right? And that just goes like so. And you got your line installed. They're pretty free, but you know, they retract nice, right? Get up there snug. That's why you don't want much slack in that thing when you put it on there, so it has a good snap back and it doesn't just drag out like this, right? You want it to be nice and in there. Now let's put the cap on. I just finished putting the little Sea-Doo cap on the end of the hole. That is not easy, so what I suggest, expanding pliers, adjustable, and tape them all up nice so you don't mark the face of it, and use these to push it in because they're not easy. Let's get these panels back on the reverse way we took them off, and then we'll take a look at it when it's done. So there it is, all done. Everything back on. Nice, working, great. That's for both sides. Now we'll do the one under the seat. But that procedure that I showed you for the side ones, that's the same for both sides, so it's pretty straightforward. Get these. Very nice. Nice easy way to tie up at a dock or a buoy or something. I suggest getting some bumpers for it because it'll pull it tight when you wrap around a cleat on a dock. it looks good. Went in there good, very well made, good construction. And yeah, let's get the one under the seat. For the seat one, you're gonna have to remove the seat. So you obviously know how to remove your own seat on the Sea-Doo, I hope, but just lift on that, pull the seat forward, backwards, and it'll reveal everything. Once the seat is off, you're going to remove 4 bolts. Right there, there, and there. And then remove that handle piece. Now the handle's off. That's going to be the little opening where it goes into. Let's go take a look at the seat. So here's the handle removed. I'm going to flip it. And then this is where your speed dial is going to be installed again, with the larger opening facing this way. So you're going to come through the bottom here, out the back. And that just goes right there. Lines up on those 4 holes underneath the seat handle. Right? And your rope will come out here and through back here. Come out there, over here. So we'll get these 4 screws in. Again, Torx 30. These came with the speed tie kit. So you got 4 of these for this, and then you got 2 more left for the guide that goes underneath the seat, which we'll put in before this. Okay, we'll come back to this. But yes, that's how that's mounted there. Again, the wide opening towards the back of the handle where it comes out. This is the guide we'll be using, and this is an optional guide for the 2 up and 1 up. We're using this one for the 3 up. So we'll take that and put it in place. So the guide for the back goes just like so. There's a little hole, and a hole in there. You do have to guide that little tab in to the hole here. So fit that in there, angle, boom, fits nice and snug. And then you put our 2 screws in there. Get those going there and there. We'll tighten that down and we should be good to put the speed tie under the seat handle and then reinstall the seat. Let's take a look at all this. Let's get this going first. Is nicely installed. Good to go. Okay, so we got that installed on there. Showing you how that is. Flip over. Where's the 4 screws, bolts that we put in to hold it in place. And this is the back. So you want the large opening, and it'll pull through. You can see that I have no slack on the rope there. It's up in there, right in there. We'll pull it out. Make sure we get the spacer out of there as well. It has to be free floating again, so we'll do that as well. Take a look at another video. Okay, so I just placed everything in there. Let me just move that up so you can see. And that's all going to sit in there. And you see, there's the guide. And once it's in there properly, it just floats right there. Right? Let me see that in there. But yeah, it comes out there. And I just put that in there so we could make sure the rope doesn't retract back in. That's pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and put the seat back down. And there we go. Got that post back in there. The handle all screwed down again. And cover on the pull. Very nice. Looks good. Good function. Awesome. Let's put the seat back on. There we go. Seat's in. It's all good. Highly recommend them. It's not that hard to install. First time installing it might take you about an hour, maybe two. You know, dedicate that. But in the end, it's pretty awesome. I think they'll come in handy. And thank you very much for watching. You can subscribe to my channel. Not much on it right now, but stay tuned. There's actually going to be a few more things on the new 2024 Spark Trixx 3-up that I will get into. You know, including the new storage bin and stuff like that. So, yeah. Thank you, and till you see another one. Have a great day.